Thanks for tuning into this latest climate update issued January 23rd, 2019. The latest drought monitor and a discussion of the recent climate conditions across California will be covered in this video presentation. Currently, we're looking at across the state of California considerable improvement, and most regions are now in the D1 for the drought severity, which would be moderate drought. And this map here shows the improvement I'm talking about. You can see the green shade showing a category improvement across Southern California and up to 2 category improvement across some of the deserts of the Southwest. So a lot of this change is due to short-term precipitation since October 1st. This map here shows the entire West and specifically California since October 1st. Southern California stands out, where that region has received about 100% of normal precipitation, and in some cases a little bit more, up around 120% of normal. Now, much of the Southwest, similar, has been quite a bit above normal. A lot of that was due to the tropical systems and some of the recent active weather in December and January. Now, the Pacific Northwest not faring as well. Most of that region is 50 to 90% of normal. Now, specifically in California, the Sierra Nevada is running right about average, the blue shaded area. This includes melted snowfall and rainfall across the northern Sierra Nevada, a good target area for impacts to drought and water supply. You can see some prior years, such as 2 years ago, 2016 and 17, were the wettest. And last year, the purple area, 2017-18, was considerably below average for much of the Sierra Nevada. Now, for the snowpack, which is critical to the water supply, storage, and management of our drinking and agricultural water, and also for water that feeds into the delta of California. You can see on the left-hand side, we're sitting at about 110 to 150% of normal for snowpack. So just a little bit above normal. Now, compared to our April 1st average, which should be when we have the deepest and most significant water supply in the snowpack, we're sitting at about 60% of that April 1st average. Now, across the state of California, we are also doing well with water supply. Now, that is the blue area. The red line is the historical average. The only reservoir that indicates any significant below normal water supply is Lake Oroville, and that is due to the construction that occurred last year where water had to be released. Now, for Southern California more specifically, the water supply looks good, and we're looking at our reservoirs such as Diamond Valley Lake sitting at just below 90% of normal. Lake Matthews and Lake Skinner similar, just below 90% of normal. Now, in San Diego County, when we look a little bit closer, we can see that the water supply is not doing as well. It's sitting at about 50% of average. This is when you include all of the local reservoirs and above ground water storage. We have seen only a little bit of increase in that storage due to recent rainfall. As you can see, the storage change indicated in the rectangle red area. Now let's break it down to very specific locations in terms of precipitation and deficits. Take a look at your favorite climate location. Here I'll focus on San Diego. So far this water year, 6.58 inches. The normal is 4.52. Now if we look back to 2013, the cumulative precipitation is up around 53 inches, which is about 3 inches shy of where it should be. Last year, we were about half of where we are today, only 3.34 for the entire water year last year. Now let's look at a location where they're not doing as well, at least in the past several years. Santa Ana, 9.60 for this water year. Now that is quite a bit, about 3 inches above normal. Now, since 2013, however, they've only seen 46 inches of precipitation. That is almost 30 inches below normal. And part of that was because 2017-18 was just record breaking with only 2.66 for the entire water year. So pretty interesting how we're doing well this year, but in some locations such as Santa Ana and Riverside, there's still significant deficits. And we also see these deficits across the mountains such as Palomar Mountain. Desert areas are a little bit closer to normal, such as what we see in San Diego for the long-term precipitation. Now let's take a look at some locations that may be also close to you. We'll focus on Big Bear up in the mountains. They're sitting at about 12 inches this water year, which is about 2 inches above normal. Now, since 2013, remember those drought years, they've received 96 inches, which is still about 20 inches shy of where they should be. So that's about a whole year of missing precipitation. Part of that was due to last year, and you can see last year we've already exceeded this year what we saw all of last year. So despite some recent significant precipitation, our long-term deficits are still evident. What's going on out in the Pacific Ocean? Well, we can see that there's a lot of warm water, warmer than it should be or departing above normal. The deep red areas are the warmest. Now in the El Nino area, which we focus along the equator, we can also see considerable warming. So the Eastern Pacific is warm. The Southeastern Pacific, very warm. Along the equator, we're just now, over the past couple months, seeing some warming above normal. Is there an El Nino yet? Well, not officially. So we see indices indicating that we are in an El Nino, but we need to see this last for at least another month. And we also need to see the atmosphere respond to this warming water. So not declared yet, but we do see above normal conditions as shown in the chart to the right. And that is focused along the equatorial region of the Pacific Ocean where we do measure El Nino and La Nina. What about the future? Well, the long-term climate prediction is shown here. The computer models, the ensemble or the consensus of those computer models indicate very dry conditions rounding off January, but early February, promising wet conditions returning for maybe all of California as shown in the green shade. What's the official outlook look like? Well, for the end of January and early February, we do see opportunities for precipitation across California and perhaps even Southern California. We also see above normal temperatures rounding off the end of the month into early February, as shown on the right-hand side in red. Okay, and taking a quick look at the latest forecast for February, rounding off the winter. Not looking as promising, where upper level high pressure could dominate much of the month. Does not mean we won't have any precipitation, but right now the forecast is for below normal over much of California for precipitation and above normal for temperature as shown in the shaded areas. Where did I get this information? A lot of the precipitation and water supply comes from the state of California, also from the Western Region Climate Center, Metropolitan Water District. The drought maps are from the Drought Monitor, which is a collaboration between multiple agencies, including USDA and National Weather Service. And then the longer range forecast from the Climate Prediction Center, who also monitors the El Nino conditions and provides that information. You can check the latest weather forecasts from weather.gov San Diego and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for tuning into this climate update.